Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take that pile of sources you've got, we dig through it all, and basically pull out the most, well, astonishing bits for you.
Yeah, the nuggets you might miss otherwise.
Exactly. And today, wow, we're diving into someone really complex. Alberto Daniel Hill.
Ah, the cybersecurity guy. The digital knight.
That's him. Famous expert, built this whole media presence after, a wrongful imprisonment. You'd think total confidence, right? Unshakable.
You would, absolutely. But that's the hook here, isn't it?
It really is, because behind that public face, our sources point to something, well, really surprising, extreme shyness, like deep discomfort in personal interactions.
It's that contrast that's so compelling. This public figure, so defiant, so in control of his narrative online.
Masterfully using his own story.
And then in this Twitter space, this moment of just raw vulnerability about basic social skills, it really makes you think about identity, performance.
Performance, exactly. Is it a mask? How deep does it go? So that's our mission today. We're unpacking this pretty extraordinary Twitter space conversation.
Yeah, where Alberto just flat out asks for advice on, well, talking to people.
We'll look at the dynamic there
Yeah.
between him, someone called Rebel One, and Kim Dato, their personalities, the psychological stuff we can piece together from the sources.
And the advice itself, plus these inconsistencies between what Alberto says and what he actually does.
All this happening while they're also talking about, get this, a real-world revolution. The stakes are just incredibly high and incredibly mixed.
It's a wild mix.
Yeah.
So for sources, we've got the actual audio, twitterspace.aec,
Crucial stuff.
and detailed profiles, Alberto Daniel Hill's lifestory.pdf, plus analysis from imprisonment to influence. So quite a bit to work with.
Okay, let's get into that Twitter space. It starts off pretty normal, actually. Some tech glitches, you know how it is online.
Yeah, relatable chaos.
But then, whoosh, it just pivots. Hard into something really personal for Alberto.
He admits this stuff, apparently privately at first, to Rebel One, but then it's out there. Things like he doesn't know how to interact with women.
Yeah, says he gets frozen, doesn't know what to do, calls himself too shy and introvert, admits a total lack of social skills.
And then he asks for a masterclass on seduction for men, dumb men.
Yeah,
It's
wait.
blunt, almost painfully so.
It's incredibly blunt. And who does he nominate as the expert for this masterclass?
Kim Burrito, which, adds another layer, maybe a bit of irony there. He specifically says she knows how to approach women and have a conversation without freaking out and freezing and paralyzing.
Okay, so Kim Morito, the designated expert, what's her advice?
Pretty straightforward, actually.
Oh.
Positive stuff. Be confident. Be nice, polite, funny.
Standard dating advice, almost.
Kind of, yeah. She suggests using niceness and humor, making it friendly, be a little more confident, more open, and approachable.
Right. Solid advice on paper. But for someone like Alberto, who seems to live in this highly complex digital world, does be confident even compute? How do you action that?
Well, that's just it. His reaction suggests it's not just about knowing what to do. It's like he fundamentally can't be that way.
How so? What did he say?
He immediately agrees, yep, I lack completely of social skills, have so much trouble when it comes to talking to women. But the real kicker, Kim Burrito says something like, people say that you're pretty cute. Simple compliment, right?
Yeah.
And Alberto's instant response is that he starts paralyzing.
No.
He asks, what do I say?
Wow. Just shuts down.
Totally. And then he follows up with, I'm not nice. That's the problem. I have to fake it. And again, I'm not kind. I'm not confident. I'm freaking out.
Oh, man. That's quite an admission. Faking niceness, freaking out over a compliment. This is the digital night.
It paints such a different picture, doesn't it? And then another person in the space, JC, she sort of backs him up in a way.
How so?
She says she was nervous meeting him initially, but he actually helped her calm down, helped her get over her own shell.
Huh. So he can be reassuring sometimes.
Apparently. But then JC adds this little anecdote about meeting him in real life a year before. Says he was completely wasted and just kind of disappeared in the night.
Okay, so maybe not always in control in person either. Adds another wrinkle.
Definitely underscores that gap between the controlled online persona and, well, the messier reality.
Messy is a good word for it. Which brings us to profiling these key figures, starting with Alberto himself. He really is this bundle of contradictions.
He absolutely is.
Okay.
On one hand, you have this fierce intellectual pride, defiance.
Yeah, the sources talk about his conviction in his superior knowledge, his very open contempt for authorities, especially after the wrongful imprisonment. He just sees them as technologically clueless.
And he lets them know it, that very, very ironic tone they mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
You can just imagine it. Dripping sarcasm,
Yeah.
probably born from that whole ordeal.
And that ordeal, having his lice, his data turned against him, it clearly left the mark. They describe it as post-traumatic hypervigilance.
Like a system that's been breached so badly, it's just on high alert constantly.
Right. He became, what, meticulous, almost obsessive about his digital footprint.
Yeah, password protecting his own stuff online just to, quote, evaluate the risks and have more time to think. It's a deep-seated defense mechanism.
But it's not just defense. There's growth, too, right? Post-traumatic growth.
Yeah.
He even says, I am not the same person I was before this situation.
Exactly. The trauma reforged him, made him more resilient, more purposeful. That's the digital knight persona, the emblem of against all odds resolve.
And he performs that identity constantly. The writing, the podcasts, Cyber Midnight Club, all those X spaces. What was it? Nearly 2,000 hosted. Yeah. Top 30 most active.
Yeah, it's how he built his platform, turned that personal tragedy into this public fight. He's masterfully weaponized his own story.
Okay, so that's the guy, the master strategist, the defiant expert, the symbol of resilience.
Right, and then you juxtapose that guy
with the guy in the Twitter space who freezes up at a compliment and says he has to fake being nice.
Exactly. That's the core contradiction. How do those two exist in the same person? Is it compartmentalization? Is the public persona just that strong a performance?
It's fascinating, this intricate picture of Alberto, but then, boom, the conversation just flips on a dime.
Yeah, it shifts from Alberto's internal struggles to something incredibly external and high stakes, embodied by Rebel One.
Tell us about her. What's her story in this context?
Rebel One comes across as this incredibly grounded, real-world activist. She's involved in actual protests. On the ground, she says, we are still protesting. It won't stop until government will be changed.
Wow. Okay. So real boots on the ground stuff.
And she talks about it so calmly, which is almost chilling given the subject matter, preparing for revolution and riots against violent armed forces.
Good grief. What's driving that?
Her stated belief is that the government's corruption and crimes and Russian regime causes people death, and that the justice system is just broken. So illegal means become necessary. You have to replace the government.
The stakes are just astronomical compared to social awkwardness.
Absolutely. And she knows the danger. She says, I hope I'm going to survive that because it's going to be a real-life action. But she feels they don't really have another choice.
That level of resolve?
Yeah.
It's something else.
It really is. And that pivot in the conversation from Alberto's vulnerability to Rebel One's, like life or death struggle.
Yeah.
It's jarring.
You can almost feel the tonal shift in the space, just reading about it. How does Alberto react to her?
He's full of admiration, calls her a hero, praises her courage, to fight in those powerful structures that's so evil, acknowledging the huge risks.
Okay, that's interesting, because other sources mention his decision after his imprisonment.
Right, that he will never, ever report a security flaw again.
So he admires her direct physical activism, while he himself retreated from a certain kind of direct, albeit digital and anonymous, confrontation after his own trauma.
Exactly. It's a fascinating contrast in responses to facing powerful, potentially dangerous systems. He fights through advocacy, through building his platform, but he stepped back from that specific type of direct digital action, the gray hat hacking disclosure that put him at risk before.
So he admires the physical bravery, perhaps because his own path led him away from a different kind of direct risk.
It seems that way. He recognizes the immense courage in what she's doing, this tangible physical resistance, which is different from his chosen path of intellectual and media-based defiance.
It just goes to show these digital spaces, like Twitter spaces, they're not just about tech or politics sometimes. They allow for these incredibly raw, human moments to surface.
Totally. You get Alberto's unexpected vulnerability, Kim's practical, if maybe mismatched, advice, Jeezy's anecdote adding color, and then Rebel One's stark dose of reality. It's messy and human.
And it really throws that irony of expertise into sharp relief, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Alberto, master of the digital domain, navigating complex legal fights, building a public profile.
But gets completely flummoxed by basic social cues.
Right. It shows that intelligence, confidence, resilience, they aren't monolithic.
Yeah.
You can be brilliant and brave in one area and, well, completely lost in another. He seems to have compartmentalized those skills very effectively.
So wrapping this up, this deep dive really peeled back the layers on Alberto Daniel Hill. The paradox is just undeniable.
Yeah, the digital titan, the master of his own narrative, wrestling with profound social insecurity.
We saw him, this digital ghost forged in trauma, looking with real admiration at the very physical, very dangerous courage of Rebel One.
Highlighting just how many different ways there are to fight, different battlegrounds for justice, for self-expression, digital, physical, verbal.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What do we make of people who are giants in one field, but maybe struggle intensely in others?
And how do these different ways of fighting back, with code, with words, with direct action, how do they shape who we become? What purpose do they give us?
And maybe in our world that's becoming more and more digital, how do we tell genuine vulnerability from, I don't know, a calculated performance? And does personal courage in one area even translate to impact somewhere else?
Lots to chew on there. It's definitely more complicated than just looking at the public face.